Greetings. I greet you in Swahili, Abaragani. This is Dr. Kenneth Vaughn, and I want to do another lesson on what is a Hebrew, an Israelite, and a Jew. I think in today's time with so much confusion going on and everybody want to be called Jews and Israelites, I think it's good that we get an understanding of what is a Jew, an Israelite, and a Hebrew. As we discovered on last lesson, that the patriarchs are Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And like I said in last lesson, that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were not Jews, nor were they Israelites, but they were Hebrews. In order to be an Israelite, they had to be a descendant of Jacob. If you remember in Genesis 32, when Jacob wrestled with the angel, his name was changed to Israel. So, and oftentimes in the Bible, the children of Israel is called, the Israelites are called the children of Israel. So in order to be an Israelite, they had to be a descendant of Jacob. And they couldn't be Jews either, because really Jews is really just a tribe. It's one of the 12 tribes. The word Jew comes from the word Judah. It comes from Judah. In order to be a Jew, you had to be of the tribe of Judah. Now, keep in mind of this like three umbrellas, that the Hebrew is the bigger umbrella. Then you had the Israelite. Then under it, you had the 12 tribes. You had the Jew, the Judah. Now, keep in mind that the Hebrews, not all Hebrews are Israelite or Jews. And not all Israelites are Jews. What do you mean by that, Vaughn? Well, if you recall that Abraham not only had Isaac, but he had a son by the name of Ishmael. Ishmael, being a descendant of Abraham, would also would be considered to be a Hebrew. What about when Sarah died and he remarried? He had 6 other sons. Those 6 other sons would have also be considered as Hebrews. What about his great-grandson, Esau? Esau himself would have been considered to be a Hebrew. If we believe that the word Eber, where we get the word Hebrew, means one who crossed over the river Euphrates, one who's from the other side, then that would constitute Abraham's nephew Lot as a Hebrew. He also was from the other side, and he also crossed over. So when you consider not all Hebrews are Jews or Israelites, and not all Jews are not all Israelites are Jews. Like I said, a Jew, you had to be of the tribe of Judah. Now, the interesting thing about this lesson that I want to talk about, even the theology of the Jews had changed. Because when God had called Abraham out, Abraham took the god of the Canaanites, El. El was the chief god of the Canaanites. He was called the god of heaven, El. Now, the word El itself means God. So it could be a transliteration, just the name God, but keep in mind that El is the chief god of the Canaanite people. Now, Moses led a reform when he led the people out of Egypt. Because when Exodus, the 3rd chapter, he asks God a question when the Lord is talking to him. He says, "Who shall I say that sent me?" And the Lord tells him, and if you look in the Hebrew, when he says the Lord your God, in the Hebrew, it literally means Yahweh. Yod-Wade, Yad-Vade. Yahweh. Now, early on, Yahweh and El was considered to be 2 different deities. El was considered to be the sky god, and Yahweh was considered to be a storm god. He was considered to be the god that would fight for his people, the warrior god. So we see, but later on in the Jewish or the Hebrew religion, there was a reform. They began to blend the two together. It's called syncretism. All cultures did it. Not only did the Jews, the Romans, the Greeks, all of them did it. It's called syncretism. They begin to blend it together and you have to understand, as time began to progress, Jewish theology began to change. And in the beginning of it, we see that they did have a bit of somewhat of paganism that was attached to it. Early on, I'm talking about Judaism. Now, I'm a Christian myself, and I do believe in the Bible. Now, if you look in the Bible, you begin to see what I mean by they worship Baal. Baal was a Canaanite deity. He was one of the sons of El. Now, the word Israel has the word El attached to the end of it, which would say, excuse me, that El was their supreme deity. Now, here's the kicker. You remember when Moses comes down off the mountain and he sees the children of Israel, once he gets the instructions by Yahweh, he sees the children of Israel, and his own brother Aaron melts the gold, and he makes a golden calf. Now, you got to keep in mind of this, that El was called the bull god, or the god bull, that is. He was noted as a bull god. So we see what was going on, really what was going on when Moses came down off the mountain. Now, I do believe, and I so strongly believe, that God's word is God's word. So please don't misunderstand what I'm saying. But what I'm trying to tell you here today is that where the Jewish ideals come from, I hope this was a blessing for you tonight. Have a blessed one.